And welcome everyone. This is the creative category for the 2020 Iris Professional Photography Awards. And we want to say a huge thank you to our sponsor Nikon. And what you've just seen is a preview of all entries that were entered into this category this year. And then we've just seen an awesome promo for Nikon on one of their latest cameras. And what we will shortly now see is a preview of all of the entries that have come through from the preliminary round into the live judging. Wow, some great images that have been entered into the creative category for 2020. We are now ready to start the judging. So what I'm going to do first off is invite all of the judges to unmute themselves, and I'm going to get them all to do a very quick introduction. Mandarin.
Hi everyone, very happy to be here. I'm an Australian photographer based in Melbourne. Love producing imagery that is surreal, conceptual, creative, portraiture, landscapes, and looking forward to judging some really amazing imagery in the New Zealand Awards. AIPP member for many years, master with 4 gold bars.
Fantastic, thank you. Tony.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tony Cutter. I'm a New Plymouth-based portrait photographer. I'm really looking forward to seeing the creativity in this category up close. And yeah, I'm a Grand Master of Photography and 6 times New Zealand Photographer of the Year.
Awesome, thank you. Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Anderson. I'm a Brisbane-based photographer. Been a photographer for over 25 years. Really honoured to be here judging this category and really excited to see everything in front of us.
Thank you. Chris.
Chris Anderson, another Brisbane-based photographer, no relation to Melissa. I'm a commercial photographer specializing in performing arts. And I'm so looking forward to judging this category. It's really exciting.
Thank you. Johan.
Hi, I'm Johan. I'm from Christchurch, New Zealand. I just love photography. I've been here for about 30 years photographing, and I just can't stop. And I love the judging the awards. It's such a privilege to be here with these other very, very highly qualified judges. I feel very fortunate. I'm looking forward to a fun morning. Thank
you. Jackie.
Jackie Rankin, living in Twizel, centre of the South Island of New Zealand. And I'm the current creative category winner of 2019. So there you go. I must love this category, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's creativity and awarding it well. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Sarah Lee.
Morning. I am Sarah Lee. I am a portrait photographer in Whangarei, Northland, and I'm really honoured to be invited back to judge the creative category. I love the interpretive stuff, and it's going to be a brilliant day.
Awesome. Thank you. And Jo.
Hi, I'm Jo Francis. I'm based in Wellington and I'm a portrait photographer. I'm the 2019 Family Photographer of the Year, and I'm really excited to be judging this category. There's some amazing work in here.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So let's get into it. First off, just thank you so much to Nikon for sponsoring the creative category. Last month they launched the Z5 mirrorless camera, and great I guess partner to the Z6 and Z7. So if you want to head over to Lacklands, check out their website and go and see if you can't get your hands on one. We do certainly appreciate the support that Nikon has given us over the years for the IRIS Awards. So this category, the creative category, represents photographs produced for self-promotion purposes, which a photographer would intend to include in their portfolio or self-promotional material. It includes wall art and exhibition work. Entries may explore a range of contemporary and historical approaches and processes. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up our first panel of judges. I'm going to have Tony, Mandarin, Jo, Chris, and Sarah Lee. If the rest of you can mute yourselves and turn off your videos and just hang around ready to pop in when needed. And if we are all ready, we will have the first image, please. Just set me. Okay, there, judges. Tony, just waiting on your score to come through.
On mine?
Yeah. You just...
Oh, you might not push. Oh, sorry, wait a minute.
Yep. Okay, so let's... Okay, no, just first line, next line up, Tony.
Oh, that's where I had it.
Yeah, just put it in again and we'll see if it comes through. It may not. I'll just put 75. Just we'll work it from here. Don't worry, we're fine, Tony. Okay, we have a score of 76, which is a bronze award. Congratulations to this photographer. We do have a very consistent panel here. And we're going to have a comment from Joe. You...
Sure. I found this a very pleasing graphic. I love all the colours and textures. I just feel it might have been stronger if you'd included the bottom of the leaf as well.
Awesome, thank you. And we'll have the next image, please.
Hey, sorry.
No problem. Can I bring in Johan? Are you able to step in, please, for Chris?
Yes. There we go.
Screen, new judges. And just waiting on one more score, serially. And we have a score of 78, a solid bronze. However, we are going to have a challenge from Mandarin. Go for it, Mandarin.
Thank you. I scored this in the silver distinction range. I think it is just one of these beautiful images that references, it's very Turner-esque in its ethereal quality. I'm really loving the allegory of, you know, there's the bird in the image and then there's a little plane in the background, and dare I say it, the juxtaposition of the two. But the beautiful tonality of it, it just draws me in, and I feel that the longer I look at it, the more I can go into almost a dreamlike state, and I feel that visually it is worth way more than a bronze. So I'd love to see it go up at least to a silver.
Awesome. I'm going to call on Joe. Are you wanting, hang on, let me just, sorry. Johan, would you have a comment? You're down on 76.
This is, yeah, I gave it a 76. The obvious thing is the juxtaposition of the bird and the plane, and how the plane is out of sorts and the bird on its own is out of sorts, and then you have sort of almost sort of like an atomic revolution sort of thing happening underneath it, which is quite torturous in a way, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. The trouble with creative category is it's really hard to work out what people are trying to say sometimes, but then being obvious isn't the necessary thing. So I'm happy to be talked up. I've just said nothing for the last 30 seconds. So I'm sorry about that, Kay, but I'm happy to be talked up. I can't see, yeah, it's a very hard one to judge.
Thank you, Johan. Joe, were you wanting to comment?
Not specifically.
Oh, okay, no, that's all good. Tony?
I scored it 78. I'm loving the colours and the feel of this image, but probably what hasn't brought me up higher is I sort of see the image into four separate parts, with the very dark base and then the golds, and then you roll up into the brightness there with the main bird, and then you roll up into the top, and I sort of feel that your eye rolls around it, but it doesn't sort of feel held together strongly. So I could come up into early silver, but I don't think I could bring it up into silver distinction for those reasons.
Awesome. Thank you, Mandarin Right of Reply.
Thanks for those comments, really great comments. And it is true that with the creative category, I guess sometimes we don't know what the story is. So for me, it's about the feeling of this particular image, the emotion it evokes. The fact that you referenced that there's 4 sections to this image, I can see that, but I think that actually adds to the interest of the image, and I still feel that you are drawn to the subject because that is in the lighter area, and there's a little bit of wonderment between the plane and all those tiny little birds around it, and the longer you look at it, the more you can create the story yourself. So I definitely think it at the very least deserves a solid silver. I scored it a silver distinction because that's where it sits for me.
Thank you. And it scores currently sitting on 78. Judges, rescore, please. And we have an 82 silver award. Well done on that conversation. I'm sure the photographer is really excited about having their entry talked up. Can we have the next image, please? Chris, we'll have you back to... Sorry, hang on. Yeah. Johan. Chris.
K is the X on the right row.
Cool. And we have a score of 75, a bronze award. Can we get a comment from Chris?
Yep, I think this is a beautiful image. I think the choice to leave the main flower in focus and really sharp focus the whole way through, and then that pattern coming through is really smart. For me, maybe to elevate it a bit more, that leaf that's sticking out the right-hand side really has a lot of presence because it's not overpowered by the background, so maybe smoothing that out the background-wise, but really good job.
Good comments there. Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? Sorry. And we have a score of 77, solid bronze award. And we're having a challenge.
No.
Oh, no, sorry, no. Okay, sorry, Mandarin, you've got a comment. My apologies.
That's okay.
Comment.
I just wanted to say this is a beautiful image. I always love looking at the crispness of feathers in images like this. I feel that it could have been brought up a little bit higher if the cropping wasn't so tight on the top left corner with that beautiful bird/owl's face, the beak and the eyes. It just give it a little bit more room to breathe.
Awesome, great comments there. So that scored 77, solid bronze award. Can we have the next image, please? So the judges are all sitting at home, peering at their monitors, with multiple monitors in front of them to look at the images on a PDF, as through a PDF to get the best quality, and then also their score sheets on another device. And we have a 73. And we will go for a comment to Tony.
I really enjoy the color range in this image, but just, you know, think about your photoshopping skills and sort of, you know, bring in that realism a bit more, just a bit better finishing. But great concept.
Awesome, thank you. Can we have the next image, please? So this category tends to be quite an open category in terms of what photographers enter. So it is work that they often use for promoting their businesses or even exhibition, as we have mentioned. Scores, please, judges. And we have a silver award at 83. Okay, I'm going to come for a comment from Chris.
Yeah, this is beautiful work. I think each of the individual photographs has been, of the performer or dancer, has been done really well. You can see all the body detail, but the choice to put it together like this and even not make it totally symmetrical, but have that twist in the middle is wonderful. So great job.
Awesome, thank you very much. And we will have the next image, please. So how a challenge works is a judge may challenge when they are 5 or more points away from the announced score. Alternatively, if they score in the gold range at any stage, they are also able to challenge. It is not a prerequisite they do challenge, but they may do so if they feel they see something particularly different from other judges. Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 77, bronze award. And Sarah Lee, have you got a comment maybe for the photographer?
I think this is a beautiful image. I love the composition of the 1, 2, 3 around the symmetry of each object. I think just going in closer, there isn't the detail there, and then there's these black lines around each fin, so to speak, that's a little distracting. So I think just refining each close up.
Awesome, thank you very much. That's fantastic comments and feedback. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 76, bronze award. And I'm going to invite Chris to have a comment on this entry, please.
Yeah, this is fun. This feels like a family portrait that is capturing all the things these people love, which is really well done. I think one thing to think about, that lamp is a really bright spot. So even though you want our eyes to be drawn to the people, my eye just keeps leaping up to that lamp because it's the white is so white. So attention to that, and it will help.
Thank you. And those highlights often are the things that get distracting in an entry. We can have the next entry, please. Scores, please, judges. We have a silver award at 82. And we will, you challenging, Tony?
Yeah, I can, can't I?
Go, you can challenge. Yep.
I'm on 87, so I love the symmetry of this, the color balance, the shadows. I think it's quite unique, and it's very well finished. Conceptually, it's very interesting. I was kept out of goal for a few little things, but yeah, I just love the depth to this, the brightness. Maybe I don't really understand the storyline too much, but we don't need to in this category. Yeah, and I think it's a bit of fun, and it's something that will stick in my mind after this comp finishes.
Awesome. I'm going to come to Jo for a comment.
Okay, so I also enjoyed the things that Tony has mentioned. The things that have held me back, my score was 78, is that I feel like the sky doesn't quite fit with the rest of the picture. It feels, everything else is quite crisp and there's a lot of detail, but the sky feels sort of pasted in at the back, and that's really quite jarring for me. The other thing that's held me back is that I would like to know a little bit more about what the story is. I feel like there's these amazing sort of quirky elements, and that's what I have scored it for, but I don't really understand how they come together. So if someone can explain that to me, I'm listening.
Okay, have we got any comments from any other judge wanting to comment? Or we
really quick
Chris,
one.
yeah.
Just a quick one. I think I agree with everyone's comments so far. In the sky towards the top left, there's a couple of little blotchy bits, and for an image that's been so carefully put together, I'm not sure why they're still there. So, Tony, if that's something you want to speak to, that'd be cool.
Okay, Tony, right of reply.
Oh, I love blotchy. No, honestly, I haven't really got much more to say, but yeah, I just love the quirky nature of it, and I can understand why others have scored it at that. So it was worth a shot. Well done to the photographer.
Okay, judges rescore, please. Tony, if you hold your score where it is. And it scores one more point at 83, and every point counts. Okay, can we have the next image, please? So that's solid silver award. So every point counts when it comes to potentially identifying who the finalists are in a category. So the finalists are chosen, or not chosen, but they are determined from the highest scoring top 3 entrants and their highest scoring 3 entries. Michael, can we have the next image through, please? And we have a score of 74. And I'm going to come to Tony for a comment, please.
Yeah, so I quite enjoy the centre of this image, but then as it sort of unfolds and it's mirrored, I think it sort of just gets lost. So I think if you're going to do, to mirror things and flip, make sure that you've got something that's really interesting that holds you in there, because it just gets a bit repetitive without any strength.
Thank you very much. And can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 78. Mandarin is going to challenge that score. You're on 87, Mandarin.
Yeah, thanks, Kay. I adore the story in this image. That little dog running and chasing the birds is life. That's my dogs. The cropping of this using a circular crop, the placement of all the elements really leads your eye through the image and through the story. And I feel, once again, at the very least, it deserves somewhere up in the silver range for its creative visualization.
Wonderful. I'm going to come to Jo for a comment. First off.
Thank you. I also love the storyline of this image. I feel like the placement through the middle of the circle is beautiful, but I'm really let down by the photoshopping. Unfortunately, I can see squares around the birds where they haven't really been integrated into the circle properly. And the sky, from what I can see, just kind of looks like little blotches as opposed to actual clouds. So yeah, talk to me about how you would resolve those issues.
Okay, can I have a comment? Tony, were you wanting to comment before?
Yeah, I just I like the elements, and I think the storyline is definitely there. But I believe when you have something that's circular, I think there needs to be a really strong point in the middle, or something that's quite central. Whereas here, I just go right through the middle to nothing really. So I think compositionally, it sort of is let down a wee bit, and there are a few issues around photoshopping skills as well.
Awesome. And I'm going to come back to Mandarin for right of reply.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Great comments. And excuse me, I've enlarged the image, and I'm struggling to see the squares around the birds that you guys reference. So, but if you say they're there, I take that on board, because obviously photoshopping is very important to get right. I do feel that this is superlative, though, in its storyline, and I love the minimalist elements of the concept, and I feel that the dog has been captured in the decisive moment. He almost looks like a little kangaroo, but I believe that it deserves a few extra points at the very least.
Awesome. Judges are going to get you to rescore. Mandy, if you can just place the same score into the next column. And we have a silver award at 80. Congratulations. So good talking there. Fantastic. Can we have the next image, please? And we have oh no. And we have a score of 79. Now we are all very close, so it's not able to be challenged, but we will be going to review this image. So if you can head over to your review score, and currently it is sitting on bronze, solid bronze. If you wish it to go to silver, please enter 80. If you wish it to remain at bronze, please press 79. I'm just waiting on 2 more. Joe, just waiting on yours, Joe.
Mine's there.
Are you in the correct cell? In
Yep.
the review column? No, you're in
sorry,
the
sorry.
wrong. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay, we have a silver award at 80. Congratulations. Thank you, judges. Joe, can I just get you to delete the other
Yes. Yep.
out of your, yeah, thank you. And we'll have a judge change. And I'm going to bring in Jackie Rankin. And Joe, you can take a little break. And we'll have the next image, please. And we have a score of 81, silver award. And I'm going to come to Jackie for a comment, please.
Yes, yeah, I gave this 83. There's a beautiful play of repetitive shapes. Maybe to take it further, well, perhaps introduce some other element, a little key in there that unexpected moment that we come and find.
Awesome, thank you. Those little nuggets are what often makes the little tipping balance. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 77, bronze award. Madrin, you've got a comment.
Yeah, I love the concept of this image. It's light and bright. The expression on the little girl is just gold. She's in the zone of her music. One thing that the photographer could work on is when you're doing images like this, just be mindful of the focus. The focus seems fairly crisp on the dress, but the cushion underneath seems quite noisy and not quite sharp. So it gives it that little bit of a cutout effect.
Awesome, fantastic comments there. Next image, please. And we have a score of 72, solid professional standard. And Tony, Jackie, you're happy to comment?
Yes, I scored at 72 as well. I think perhaps we're losing its three-dimensionality. If it had been lit and the cutting out of the edge had been a bit more with the subject or the object, that would have come up higher. Beautiful colour.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? Scroll down. And we have a score of 73, solid professional standard. And I'm going to invite Chris for a comment, please.
There's a beautiful landscape, and the subject has been well drawn out. For me, the balance isn't quite right. That there's towards the bottom right-hand corner, there's a fairly dark mass that for me has a similar weight to the subject, so it pulls my eye away. So maybe working that a little bit might help to lift this further.
Fantastic, thank you. Next image, please. And we have a score of 73, solid professional standard. And Mandarin, you've got a comment.
So much potential in this image. I love the run amok on the old shabby caravan as well. Points of improvement. Just be very careful of over sharpening. It's a little bit too heavy handed, and I'm not sure if you could maybe crop a little bit more of the sky out, or add a little bit more drama, deepen it off, or just elements to look at.
Awesome, thank you very much. Next image, please. So this is the category that entrants can use Photoshop with virtually no restrictions. So fine-tuning entries is a key thing that the judges are looking for. And we have a solid silver at 82. Can I get Jackie? Have you got a comment?
Yeah, I gave this 83. It's a beautiful trophy piece. How to take it further? Wow. Maybe it's a little bit cramped within that circular frame, and there could be little bit more story about the why of it, but it's certainly a beautiful piece, art piece.
Awesome, thank you. Next image, please. Tony, just waiting on your, yep, perfect. And we have a score of 79. We are going to have a challenge. Tony.
Yeah, I'm on 94. I think conceptually this is, it's a great piece. The storytelling aspect of this this building and religion slowly combusting. You could take that as something that's disappearing, or something that somebody wants it to disappear, and just how you left in black and white at the bottom. I think the construction of this is quite perfect. Yeah, the finishing, the coloration, you know, how the photograph is just slowly disintegrating. I think there's a lot happening in here, but it's a story that we could all read differently. So I think that's quite interesting in itself, that you could read this, interpret this image in several different ways.
Okay, thank you. Chris, I am going to come to you for a comment.
I thought you might. So, Tony, I see all the things you've spoken about with the subject matter, and I agree. It's as a statement, it's really powerful. I hadn't sort of twigged to the black and whiteness of the at the bottom, which is really great. I guess one thing that I struggled with a lot was the photographic aspect of these three captures. So, for example, the clips that are holding the photos up, like the middle one, in the middle and the bottom photo, the whites are really blown out and the blacks are gone, and maybe that shouldn't matter, but it does draw my eye away from the thing I should be looking at. I do kind of wonder as well that fire is going to have a character of its own, and we've kind of cropped a lot of that fire out. If there had been more breathing room at the top, that might have given it even a little bit more. I do really like it. I'm going to come up, but I'm not sure I can make it to gold.
I'm going to come to Mandarin, who's wanting to comment.
Yeah, thanks, Kay. I agree with Chris and Tony. I think it's a beautiful image, and talk about burning down the house. As far as the storyline goes, I think I love the concept of the three. I feel that if the photographer had put them as a horizontal triptych and perhaps still had them as vertical images, as Chris said, you could have had a little bit more of the story of the flames and perhaps some ash on the final image to show a little bit more of what you're doing, rather than actually just burning the image. So, you know, flames can really show a lot. There could have been, you know, some sort of face or some sort of element within the frame, the flames that could have actually really made the storyline even more powerful. But I'm willing to come up.
Awesome. Anyone else wanting to comment? We will go back to Tony for, Jackie.
So the first frame, the top frame, is from a different sequence of fire lighting, isn't it? Would you read that? Because the tongs are different, they're not the identical clips. And so that sort of breaks down a little bit of that trilogy. And I just think the bottom image on its own is really powerful. There's some of it, I can see all that story enough there. So I was on 77, so I'm listening to your still, Tony.
Thanks. Tony, right of reply.
Okay. I suppose it's an image you have to live with it for a while to sort of see, and I understand what you're talking about, the clips and things, and that is a little bit off-putting. But I'm not sure, I might be on a limb here, but is this the cathedral in Christchurch? That's, you know, meant to be temporary, and it's slowly burning down, and then you've got the ashes in black and white of, you know, maybe somebody wanting to take it back to something more original rather than this contemporary piece. So I'm just sort of wondering if that's what the author is trying to portray here. I mean, I might be totally wrong, but that's sort of the feeling that I'm getting from this. I think it is, you know, good storytelling, but I understand some of the problems that you guys are talking about as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. And we're going to get judges to rescore, please. And we have a silver award at 82. So there was some movement there. And we'll have the next image, please. So it's always important to note that judges do see different things in images, and that's why we have a panel of 5 judges. And enlightening other judges is part of what any discussion or debate following a challenge is all about. We have a score of 69, professional standard, and I'm going to call on Sarah Lee. What do you think the photographer could do to maybe improve the image?
I think just working on sharpness, whether it's the movement or the focus, and then also the area of white on the wing that's closest to us is cut across by those dark feathers, and because there's so much contrast there, it takes away from the head of the bird, and I think that's where the attention really should fall. So bringing up the head and darkening down that first wing, perhaps.
Awesome, thank you. Now we're going to have a judge change. I'm going to bring in Melissa for Mandarin and Johan for Chris, and you can both have a little break. And we'll welcome onto the panel Melissa Anderson, all the way from Brisbane, and Johan, who's in Christchurch. Can we have the next image, please? Scores, please, judges. Tony, just yours coming through. We have a bronze award at 76, so a solid bronze award. And we will have a comment from Melissa, please.
So, congratulations to the photographer on a bronze award. I think this has shown very proficient lighting. The design and the colour choice has been done exceptionally well. And congratulations, lovely image.
Awesome, thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? Okay, I'm going to, can I get Chris, can I get you just to step in for this image, please? So judges do get the opportunity to step down on an image where they feel they can't do it justice, and allow another photographer to provide their input or opinion. It may also be that they may have seen the entry or the image before, or know the photographer. They feel they can't provide an unbiased opinion when judging. Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 83. Solid silver award. And we are going to have a challenge from Chris.
Yeah, I've got to challenge this. This is first and foremost, this is a beautiful piece of art. So the color tones through the image, the tonal control is really good. The nature of the composition is balanced. So, I mean, just on its own as an art piece, it's beautiful. Now, digging down into the narrative, I mean, there's a pretty clear narrative about war and soldiers who have fallen in battle, and you can see, you know, with the scimitars buried in the sand and the rifles and all of these aspects of conflict and the helmets, and then you think about the sheer loss of human life that comes with conflict, and all these helmets are they're almost all exact clones of each other except for that medic, and that the medic helmet just towards the right of the center breaks that pattern, and it's that extra little thing to look for. But even the medic has a gun, so there's something really quiet and still about this image, I think, because there are no humans left in this. Everyone's gone. Whatever this conflict, whatever this is representing, there are no people left to witness this beautiful scene that we're looking at. I think this. I'm on 88. I've got this in silver distinction. I'm a bit sad I didn't have more guts and go a little higher. I'd love to have a chat about this.
Awesome. Johan, I'm going to come to you. You're on 78.
Yeah, I really like this image, and I'm happy to come up. I just had just a couple of issues, and you're talking about, I found something even that I like more about it, and it was actually just the focus issue, believe it or not, where you've got the puddle of water in the background, which seems to have reasonably clear focus on it, yet the softness of the guns and helmets in that area doesn't seem quite to match. So it's sort of just a little bit of an incongruity. I was thinking about what you're talking about, the scimitars, and then I was trying to work out what the middle part was, and then I figured out it was a city, and they were fighting over that, and this is what it costs. So, you know, just in saying that, I feel immediately that I need to at least go to a silver. So, yeah, but just if you can explain that focus in the far corner, in this right-hand corner side, that'd be great. But otherwise, yeah, I'm still happy to go to a silver.
Okay. Does any other judge want to make a comment? The rest of you are all very, very similar. Otherwise, no. Sarah Levy, I should say.
Yeah, thank you. I love everything about this image for all the reasons that have already been spoken. What I find quite distracting is that there is a lot of heavy shadow with the swords in the city, and it's not replicated with the helmets and the guns. They don't have that depth that the swords do, and the swords are all quite unique, whereas all the helmets are just so uniform, which actually may be the concept in itself. So, yeah, that's my piece.
Awesome. Thank you. Back to you, Chris, for a reply.
Okay, cool. So as far as the helmets being uniform, it's a uniform, so that works. With the swords and the shadow, there are multiple elements that are really close to one another, so they're going to cast heavier shadows. All those helmets are kind of on their own, so there's going to be less of a dramatic shadow. If they were clustered closer together, maybe they would shadow each other. Johan, the city in the middle, I was actually struggling to understand the significance of that, and you've helped me with that. I can't argue with you about that focus of the puddle on the right. So you're right. That is something that probably could use a little more detail. Then again, I'm sitting in silver distinction. I'm not looking for gold. I am silver. We're showing excellent visual communication, and it's as a well-handled piece. The communication is clear. I think it deserves a silver with distinction, and I would love to see some people coming up with me.
Awesome. Can I have you all rescore, please? Chris, you will need to hold yours, lock yours. And we have a silver with distinction at 85. Good conversation. I'm sure the photographer is very, very excited about that, as we can be here too as judges. Okay, can I please have the next image? We have an 88, silver with distinction. However, we do have 2 people looking to challenge this, but I'm going to go to Tony, who is the highest.
Yeah, I'm on 96 for this. My initial reaction when I first saw it was, oh, that's just straight gold straight off the bat. But then you go on there and you look into those faces, and your eye just rolls around, and the hands, the gestures, the sorrow, the sadness, the photo finishing is beautiful. The tonality is amazing. The body language, you can read so much into this. The panoramic nature in it being people. You know, it's just been done to such a great degree that the finishing is superb. The lighting is amazing, and I think we could all read in a different story to any of these expressions. It's perfection. Yeah, come up with me into gold with distinction. Well, let's talk about it.
Sarah Lee, I'm going to come to you. You're on 83.
Yes. Yeah. I do love this image. I think the tonality is beautiful. I think the expressions are perhaps all a wee bit too similar. And I think perhaps there's too many hands. I understand self-soothing and reaching and hugging and clasping your face. But I think if there was less, it would have more drama because of it.
Thank you. Jackie, I'm going to come to you. You're actually up there with Tony.
Yep, I'm on 92. And as far as I'm concerned, gesture is all part of the emotion, and that's the hands are a big part of that. The rhythm and pattern that it is going through here, it could almost be like a posy of flowers. It's a sculpture. And it comes to that 4 with the 2 hands up on the face. It's kind of like one mind, so that repetitive face is all part of that too. This posy of flowers, you know, you can go somewhere else beyond what appears to be, you know, grief and sorrow and things held deep. So I'm on 92. I'm listening to you, Tony. I'm 96. So let's see.
And I think we will come back to you, Tony, for right of reply.
Okay. Well, there would have been a few more comments. Yeah, I just it's the poetry of this, the sorrow and the expression, how your eye can just drift. Your eyes go to, you know, to the eyes of the person, and it just rolls right through gently from left to right, and just that symmetry in the middle. The lighting's perfect. Just how the flow of the body angles and the lighting on this, you can just see that this has been done by somebody that really, really knows their subject and has such masterful skills in lighting and you know, putting this all together. This is just so graphic, the stone-like quality of it. But just look at the hands everywhere. They're just so perfectly placed. I think it's just totally amazing. And just on the left, the person, you know, looking down and out of the frame, and then on the right, looking sort of just, you know, eyes up a little bit. And yeah, but getting the human body language to this degree takes a lot of skill. I mean, you know, quite often when you see something like this, the ears can be a wee bit of a problem when putting something together like this. But just look through there and just see how cunning and careful the person has been, the photographer has been, to have everything in its rightful place. Come up with me to 96 in gold with distinction, please.
Thank you, Tony. Very impassioned there. Can I please get all judges to rescore? Successful. This entry has scored 95, so gold with distinction. Congratulations to the photographer. Fantastic outcome. Well done, Tony. Pretty powerful comments there. Okay, I'm going to do a judge change. Mandarin, can I get you in for Jackie? Thank you, and we'll have the next image, please. And we have a score of 75, bronze award. And I'm going to come for a comment from Johan.
Oh, I thought you might. I really liked the idea behind the image. I thought that was good. I feel that we've almost been presented with too much information, so it's a little bit overlit, I feel.
Awesome, thank you. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 74, solid professional standard. And Mandarin, would you have a comment for this photographer?
I feel that, I mean, that the subject matter has got a lot of potential, but I feel that the overlay is not adding anything to the image other than a little bit of confusion, which I'm trying to resolve, but I'm not quite there.
Awesome, thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? We have a score of 81, silver award, and we are going to have a challenge from Tony.
Yeah, so I am on, what did I get in there? In the end? 92. So I'm the first to admit that I've seen this image around a wee bit. So I didn't have to spend too much time judging it today because I know the image and I absolutely adore it. The energy of this animal and the brave crop is what really makes it work for me. And just the hands leading in and just the power of this beast. You know, with something like this, it's easy to concentrate on the movement and the whole, the whole feeling of what's going on around it, normally including the whole animal. But I think there's plenty of energy here. The finishing is beautiful. And I just love the abstract nature of such a powerful animal, and just that you can feel the energy is probably what I'm trying to get across. And I think it's an easy goal for me.
Awesome, thank you, Tony. Johan.
Yeah, sorry, Tony. I gave it a 72. I love the energy in it. I think it's a very clever way to depict the power of the horse. I just got stuck on the hand, and every time I looked at the hand, I struggled to look back to the horse where I was supposed to be looking. Yeah, but maybe I can come up a bit.
Can we get a comment from Melissa? Oh, just unmute yourself there, Melissa.
I scored this in the silver range, and it's probably, I was lacking a little bit of courage, perhaps. I'm certainly listening. I feel the energy, and I love the sensory experience of this image. I love the movement. The file handling is stunning. I love the textures, so it gives you that feeling of what it's actually like when you're going for a ride. I struggled a little bit with the texture to begin with in the background, but then I realised that could also be referencing, you know, traditionally when we see portraits of horses, they're very traditional, you know, sort of images of oil colours or very dominant poses. And I think this gives us a very eclectic, sensory, energetic image. I think the hand, I did look at the hands as well, and I thought, well, the hand coming in so softly and leading in is beautiful. And then you're brought to that highlight, which is basically, that's the controlling element. That is supposedly the dominant element of this incredible, powerful force. So yeah, I'm listening, and I'm going up.
Awesome. And I think we'll come back to you, Tony, for right of reply.
Yes. So Johan, that hand is integral. It's leading you in, and then you've got that diagonal line running right down into the horse's mouth, and just that highlight on the nose of the horse and the hand, and then what's in between. So this is quite a wild image, but it's been contained, and I believe the texture really adds to the image with the energy of the water or whatever is on the bottom left, the texture. It all sort of balances, and it's been masterfully done, and I think it's well deserving of a gold. So let's see if we can get it there. Thanks.
Awesome. Judges, can I get you to rescore, please? Tony, if you can lock your score in.
Sure.
And the power of conversation, we have a gold award at 90. Congratulations to the photographer. And can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 77, solid bronze award. And I'm going to come to Mandarin for a comment.
Sure. It's got a really sublime tonality and colour palette. I think there's a lot of potential here. Where it let my scoring down a little bit was I wanted to find an area of sharpness, and I've struggled with that. The image feels a little unfocused or noisy overall. So if you could give me an element to really focus on, that would bring it up a little bit, I think.
Awesome, thank you very much. Good feedback for the photographer. Can I have the next image, please? Scores, please, judges. Two judges still to come. Melissa and Sarah Lee, if you can pop your scores in, press enter.
Mine have been entered.
Mine are entered also.
Just do. And we have a score of 78, solid bronze award. And I'm going to come for a comment from Tony. Oh, Mandarin, you're happy to comment.
Yeah, I can comment. I can almost hear the fast, solid classical music in the background to this image. It's really staccato. It's beautiful color palette. There's lots to look at. I would suggest that technical things that are really easy to fix. Make sure your sensor is clean, because when you enlarge the images, some of the images have dust on the sensor. So just be really mindful of cleaning up each image, because the judges will look very closely and pick up on those things.
Awesome, thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 75, bronze award. Excuse me. I'm going to come to Tony for a comment.
So I quite like having the two images placed together like this, just to sort of watch your highlights and sort of try to make sure that you get a relationship happening between the images, and the brightness on the right-hand side of the left image just a little bit overpowering and disappearing against the white background.
Awesome, good. Thank you very much for that. Can we have the next image, please? Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 77, solid bronze award. And Johan, would you like to make a comment?
Sometimes too much is too much, and I feel there's like three too many images there. The bottom three seem to distract me from the gentleness of the top six. Love the colour palette though.
Awesome, and you've got a nod there from a couple of other judges too. Okay, I'm going to do a judge change. Jackie, can I get you back in for Sarah Lee? I'm going to give you a break. And Chris, I'm going to bring you in, and Tony, if you can have a break, please. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 73, solid professional standard. And I'm going to, Jackie, would you have a comment for the photographer?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the image. Just the way my eyes moved around through the checkerboard pattern. People can sometimes get stuck in reading words, and that's what we probably do first. And so maybe a little bit, few more spaces where there's something else going on could be good. But beautiful colours.
Awesome, thank you very much. And can we have the next image, please? We'll give a big shout out to our sponsor of this category, Nikon. And if you get the chance, go and have a look at and have a little play with their new Z5 mirrorless camera. And we have a score of 66. And Johan, would you be happy to comment?
Yeah. I think just be wary of blowouts and things. But I think the image would have been a little bit stronger if you'd cropped in both ends. Say, take out the end donkey feeding and the tail of the right-hand side one too.
Awesome, yep. Getting our cropping tools out and just having a little look. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 71, solid professional standard. Jackie, can I get a comment from you?
Lovely expression and skin tones and playfulness in this photograph. But I think there's a little bit too much going on. We need a bit more space for all those other animals to be really engaging with the main subject.
Thank you very much. Next image, please. And one more. Yep, and we have a score of 77, bronze award. And Jackie, you're going to challenge this.
Yeah, I gave it the benefit. Oh well, I gave 86, partly because of the light. This light, glowing light of ball of flowers or whatever they are. They're beautifully balanced with the created landscape beneath. The color palette of the celadon pot is beautiful as well, and there's lots of good choices that have been made here. I think it's been crafted really well. It would make a great print, and yeah, I'd like you to reconsider.
Okay, Chris, I'm going to come to you for a comment, please.
Kind of down the other end. I had this in professional practice. I agree with the composition and the color palette. It's wonderful. I think something I'm struggling with is if you look at the lamp, the lamps, they're so crisp and clear and photographic. If you look at the landscape, it's so not. And if you look at the pot, it's kind of halfway in between. And where they meet, it doesn't feel like they meet. It's just been dropped on. So I think it's the disparity between the crispness of those lamps and everything else that's really making me feel like this is not quite as resolved as it could be. But I'm open and I'm listening.
Okay, Mandarin, comment from you.
Just further on from what Chris has said, when you enlarge that, I feel like there could have been, with the cutout of the lamp, a little bit of work on the feathering of the edge, because the edge is extremely sharp on the right side and not as sharp on the left side. So it all adds to what Chris said, that sort of cutout effect, because the sharpness is different with those lamps above.
Thank you. And I'm going to come back to you, Jackie, for right of reply.
And you're both right about that. It's such a shame that the bottom wasn't treated as well as the top, because I really love that top. And so, yeah, taking that on board. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Judges, can I get you to rescore, please? Jackie, you can lock your score in.
Sorry. Mine's coming. Oh, I thought it was. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. And it stays at 77, solid bronze award. Congratulations to the photographer. Maybe they can go and re-look at those little things that the judges have actually said. Can we have the next image, please?
Oh.
From UK.
My apologies. We have a score of 73. Hope you can lip read. So we have a score of 73, solid professional practice. Johan, would you be able to... Oh, Mandarin, you're happy to comment on this one?
Oh, unless Johan wants to.
You go, Mandarin.
No,
Okay.
go for it, Mandarin.
Love the delicate treatment of all the little highlights on those objects. Where I feel that the photographer could do a bit more work on this image is the swirly shape. The third shape is quite distorted, so those little bubbles of highlights are distorted. So I feel that if they weren't distorted, they were the circular shapes, the others, it would be more congruent. And also the shape of that in itself is not quite as circular as I would like it to be. So a little bit more attention to detail would lift this.
You're on mute again, Kay.
Thank you, Mandarin. Can we please have the next image? Melissa, just your score to come in. Yep, you're having trouble. Hang on. Let's just have a quick look at There we are. Can you maybe just okay, if you can put me through, message me through your score, I will. Awesome, got that. Thank you, Melissa. And we have a score of 75. Bronze award. And we are going to have a challenge from Johan.
Just a small challenge. I gave it a good solid silver. And I loved, and you've probably all seen it, but I just love the iterations of a bird in flight that come out of this form. I'm a little bit distracted by the little bits of the little dots at the top, but a simple fix. I really feel a strong sense of uplifting as the image becomes lighter and lighter and lighter, and just that sense of freedom of the very last bird taking off. And I think the photographers observed and created something that is really intriguing. I gave it a good silver.
Awesome. And comment from Jackie.
I gave it 70. I saw a rib cage. and then I saw a highlight that was distracting me away from that subject. But I like your interpretation, Johan, and I can go there. Coming up 10 points is something that I can do. Pity about though the depth of field has sort of dropped off in that corner, and that my eye does go off the page a little bit in that top left-hand corner. But yeah, okay.
So, Chris, you'd like to comment?
Yep, just really quick. I saw the bird, and I saw a whale's tail coming out of the ocean as well. So there's all this repetition of kind of ocean-related themes that was nice. I think I would have loved a little more breathing room on the left and right, just to see the tips of the bird's wings or something like that. I was on 73. I'm going to come up a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Johan, right of reply.
And I'm loving, Jackie, I'm loving that brightness in the corner, because as you can see, the bird is slowly veering towards the sun. You know, it's a little bit icaristic. I hadn't even thought of the whale tail. I think the bird's much stronger though. And I think if you'd gone too wide on the sides, then you would have lost the strength and the power of the bird surging forward. Yeah, I gave it a silver. If you can join me, that'd be awesome.
Okay, judges, can I get you to all rescore? Johan, you keep your score as it is. Enter it, but keep it as it is. And we have a silver award at 80.
Awesome.
Good talking there. Well done. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we please have the next next image? Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 78. But we are going to have a challenge from Mandarin. Take it away.
I think this image is superb, and I actually scored it in the gold range. The concept, the layout of it with that tiny little light in the middle, I think it's a lighthouse, but it just solidifies the rest of the image. The movement in the trees or the branches on the left sort of exemplifies the passing of time. I feel that it's been beautifully handled. There are a couple of technical issues, which is why I didn't go higher, but I'd love to hear from the other judges, because I genuinely feel it deserves, at the very least, somewhere in the silver distinction range.
I'm going to go to Jackie, who is on 72. So Mandarin scored 92. Jackie is on 72.
Yeah, and I'm happy to have said I've been to the most northern tip of New Zealand, and this is the scene you see underneath the mountains, you know, coming down here to the ocean. I just saw it as a really good technical photograph of the Milky Way, with a really well composed. But there was a few sort of blobs just on the left-hand side at the left-hand tip of the arc of the Milky Way. I thought that maybe that could have been corrected. I thought the color tone was a little bit unemotional, a little bit dark, and that other things could have been brought to this to have made it much more animated. Some sort of lighting of the landscape underneath, particularly to bring it into that gold range. I'm listening now. Might have been a bit too tough on 72.
Johan, you might like to make a comment.
I gave it an 82. I too was worried about the smudgy bit on the left-hand side, but it worked out that it was probably a cloud, and so I forgave the photographer for having a cloud in his or her photograph. I quite like the coincidence or the choice to have an element pointing up off the horizon line into the beginning of the arch, which then leads you over to the other element, which is pointing up off the right-hand side of the hills. You know, the two flax stalks, and you know that there was 2 + 2, and then the balance, and it's almost like the lighthouse is projecting the sky, and that's quite a powerful image for me. So I gave an 82. I could be talked up a little bit.
Thank you. And I'm going to come back to Mandarin for right of reply.
Thank you very much for all those comments, all very valid. I reiterate that it is definitely, I feel, in the silver distinction range. I really enjoy the deep darkness in the landscape, Jackie. I guess it's just a difference of viewpoint. I see where you're coming from. However, I feel that the darkness of it draws your eye up into the subject, which is the Milky Way. Even though the landscape is dark, I can still see detail. There's nothing that's, in deep dark shadow. I can still see the movement of all the flora in the foreground and the movement of those twigs that, like you guys said, lead your eyes up into the Milky Way. So I think it's for the concept and the creativity of interpreting a subject that we have seen before, images of the Milky Way. I think it's been beautifully seen and envisaged. So I believe at the very least a silver distinction should be awarded.
Awesome, thank you. Can I get you all to rescore, judges? And we have a score of 84. Solid silver award. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 70, professional standard. And I'm going to come to Chris for a comment.
So this is it's a great take on fireworks. We've all seen fireworks photographs, so this technique is bringing something different out, which is lovely. I found perhaps, especially towards the bottom, it feels like there's a texture, almost like a canvas texture that's behind it as well, and that felt a bit incongruent with everything else. So maybe look at that if you want to lift this further.
Awesome, thank you very much. And with that, we are going to have a judge change. So before we do that, we will going to have a Nikon promo on their Z5 played.
You know it. Feel it. Touch it. You know it.
Okay, and we're back into it. And thank you, Nikon, for sponsoring the creative category at the 2020 Iris Awards. Just saw a promo for their Z7, amazing camera, and it's also awesome to see how all of these cameras are put together in the video that they've actually got, creating how their cameras are actually built and put together. Pretty amazing. Okay, we're going to get back into it now with the judge change. Joe, I'm going to bring you in for Mandarin, if you have a little break. And Tony, I'm going to bring you back in. And Chris, you can have a little break. And we're all ready. We will have the next image, please. And scores, please, judges. What have we got coming? Okay, we're missing Tony. We're just missing your score there.
Sorry.
Now we have a score of 83, solid silver award. And believe it or not, you are all very similar. Can I get a comment from Tony, please?
I think this is just so beautifully done and handled. It's just such softness and quite perfect in its finishing. Probably the only thing is just lacking a little bit of a storyline for me with the building in the background. So I sort of felt that those elements were, what it was all about, but I couldn't quite grasp that. But conceptually, it's quite beautiful to look at.
Thank you. That's great feedback for the photographer. Next image, please. And we have scores, please, judges. Melissa, just waiting on you. You got that? Have you sent that through, Melissa? You have? For some reason, it's not. Oops, no, it's not coming through. Just go back and re-enter that. It's giving us a wonderful outcome.
Okay.
Yep.
I changed my score. Has that come through? Or I don't know. I've never done that before. Well,
Yes, it has.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Yes, it has. Okay. So we have a score of 81. However, put your hand up, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony is going to challenge this.
Yeah. So I'm not going to comment about any other earlier entries similar to this, but I believe conceptually this is a story about how architecture has disappeared, buildings have disappeared down in Christchurch. Somebody else can tell me if I'm wrong about the building, but yeah, so I believe this is a story about how, you know, a city has changed through earthquakes and things like that, and things have disappeared. And maybe this is the photographer saying that they don't agree with it, and that's the story I'm reading. And I think it's pretty simple if you know your places, and hopefully I'm right. And I'd like to hear what everybody else has got to say.
Okay, I'm going to come to Jackie for a comment, please. Just unmute yourself, Jackie. Yep, perfect.
I scored this 73, Tony, partly because I was also looking at the single photograph that where it was demanding attention, and I don't think that architectural photograph warrants the score that you've given it. There's just a little light poking up and a little bit of something coming up on the left hand or right hand side that's been cropped to this panoramic image for the print. So that let me down, and the flame flowing through it is quite nice, going from left to right, because we're not judging. Well, I'm judging an image that's meant to be a complete image, not just an idea. And I love the idea, but none of these single images for me represent gold. Good idea, but I just can't see them coming together on this one.
Thank you. Melissa, can I come to you for a comment? Oh, you're on mute, Melissa.
Joys of technology, hey? Multiple screens and notes and all sorts of different things. Okay, now I scored this in the silver range. I'm looking at coming up. I don't know whether I'm looking at gold, but I'm certainly still considering it. I took an entirely different perspective than Tony's. I thought this was more taking such a traditional building and such a traditional perspective, and the dominant tones and the coldness, and then setting it on fire. I looked at it that it was more making a social statement in terms of the destruction of traditional cultural methods or cultural power, from destroying buildings and statues, and a new world order emerging or whatnot, which we're actually, which we've seen in conflicts recently. So I did find the clips were quite, the highlight on the right hand side, I considered that, and I thought, no, this is meant to be real, this is meant to be gritty, this is reminiscence of the riots that we're seeing, this is reminiscence of real world, and that's why it's gritty. And I liked the fact that the last image, I liked that the flame drags us diagonally down. Normally we'd expect left to right, we're seeing right to left as we're going down, and then we're left with just this tiny bit of structure and all of this blue sky and this natural environment. So yeah, I saw a very strong message in it. I think it's been very well done, and I'm coming up.
Thank you. Johan.
I can cast a little bit of light on it. The actual building is a now derelict Catholic church in Christchurch, left to go to ruin, and it's sad. And my take on it is a lot along the lines of what Tony was suggesting, in that it's been the loss of these cultural or these significant architectural structures that has been one of the sad things about Christchurch. And once they're gone, and this is the power of the flame, once that photograph is gone, it no longer exists. So, and it's the same with the building. Once it is gone, that no longer exists. We can have photographs of it, but the actual thing is not there. So I think the photographer's done quite a powerful representation of that, and even in the subtlety of this, from each image, it gets smaller and smaller. So it's becoming more diminutive, if you like, as you go down. So I was on a silver. I'll give me some more fodder so I can get it up to a gold, Tony.
Okay, Tony, back to you. Right of reply.
Yeah, so I think all of us as judges can probably think of buildings locally where they've lived that have been left to go to rack and ruin, and then either pulled down or something like this happens. So I think that's a strength. I don't necessarily need to look at that and go, oh, this image is beautiful. Let's give it a gold for what we're seeing. Let's think about the intelligence behind the photographer. I really look at this and feel like I'm in the mind of that person and how they're telling a story. And I think it's quite brave to put something like this into this type of awards. This sort of sits in the art world. It could be in a gallery. It could be used by people to change the local council's mind on things. It brings an awareness to what's happening. So it has a social and it's that religious values behind this. I think we need to really think about this. This is very intelligent work, and I think it's worthy of a gold.
Thank you very much, Tony. Can I get your all judges to rescore, please? Tony, if you can put your score in again. And we have a gold award at 90. Great conversation there. Great comments come through. Can we have the next image, please? Scores, please, judges. And we have a silver award at 80. And I'm going to come for a comment from Joe.
Okay, I really enjoy the way they've used a sort of old retro postcard to place these elements in. For me, I would have liked the elements within the frame to tell a bit more about each other. I feel like the church on the right is really interesting, and I almost would have preferred to have seen more of that and less of the sort of shrub on the left.
Awesome, thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? So entrants will earn merit points when entering the awards. So NZIPP members and members of reciprocal organisations who run similar awards programs, they have the opportunity to earn merit points which go towards their distinctions, Associate Master, Master with Distinction and Grand Master. For every bronze an entrant receives, they earn half a point, and every silver or silver distinction, it is worth 1 point, and gold or gold distinction is worth 2 points. Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 87. However, we do have a challenge from Tony. Oh, are you challenging too, Johan?
Yeah. Who is highest?
Okay, so I'm going to come to you as the highest.
Tony, I can't believe I gave it a higher score than you. It's great. What a powerful image, what powerful personalities all the way through it. What wonderful rendering, what a powerful sea. And then just each of the individuals is incredibly strong. And then I'm not sure if it's religious, the iconism on around the necks of the two people in the center with the box that they're holding, but they're bathed in this extra bit of light that sort of suggests a religious element. The two ropes that lead round behind them and take you to their position, the diagonal that leads into their bodies, it's all really, really nicely handled. I'm struggling to find the problems with it, and I don't want to find any problems because I'm just enthralled by the action and the power of this image.
Thank you. I'm going to come to Joe. Are you happy to make a comment on
absolutely.
the 78?
Yes, I am. So for me, I absolutely love the palette. I love the composition. But where it falls down for me is that I don't find some of the faces very believable, particularly this guy holding the barrel on the right. I've spent a bit of time on boats and rough seas, and it just doesn't feel plausible to me that in this situation he'd be holding a barrel or having that sort of expression. Yeah, and I feel like the sea doesn't look quite right either. It's sort of it feels like it should be less blurry than it is. So although I absolutely love the sort of storyline and what the authors tried to do here, I just kind of feel it's not quite plausible. And the plasticky sort of plates in the middle too are sort of taking away from the historical feel of the photo, and they feel just very modern and sort of out of place. But I'm listening. Talk to me about what my objections here.
Okay, Tony, you're commenting. You're up there with Johan.
Joe, it's not real.
No way. I thought it was a drone photo.
I think its quirky nature is that it almost feels like it is taking the mickey a wee bit, and you know that it's not really happening, and it's very theatrical, I suppose you could say. You know, I love the couple in the middle and just the graphic nature of it. I do agree that the sea looks a little bit strange and maybe slightly overworked, but then everything is just slightly over the top on this. So that's why I'm sitting on gold. That's where I am at the moment, and I'm quite happy with it in gold. But I think it's a superior piece of communication here, and just very interesting. And you feel like you want to know more about it.
Thank you, Tony. Melissa, unmute yourself. Yep.
Yeah, I scored this at the high end of the silver range. There was a couple of reasons. I really enjoyed I enjoy the context and the intent of this image, and it's very powerful. I did also feel that the sea, if this is meant to be a ferocious, frightening, powerful sea, I wanted the sea to be a little bit more dominant. I sort of feel that it's been overworked and then it's been desaturated and dialed back, whereas it should be showing the fury, which gives us the energy to what's going on within the boat. I also, I enjoy the people that are sort of central and resolved, but I find that I'm moving around. I feel really directed in terms of where I'm meant to be looking with all of the different faces, and some of the ropes that I'm directed with more saturation or more lightness in the bottom right-hand corner, but then they go up to a different sort of saturation or density level. So I feel a little bit unresolved and pulled all around the frame, which is maybe potentially the intention, but I just feel a little bit unresolved. I want it to seamlessly draw me into who I think those people are meant to be the centre. In saying that, I'm certainly happy to come up a little bit, and I'm still listening.
Johan, take it away.
Joe, if you drop a barrel on your foot, that's the expression you would have. And I too was initially a little bit disturbed by the colourful plates and broken bits in the bottom, but then I noticed that the arrangement of the blue and the red mirrored the outfits of the two central characters. So it sort of threw me back to where I was supposed to be. I see the sea as incredibly rough, not violent, and hard work for everybody involved. And it's not you're right, Tony, it's not a photograph, and that's what I enjoy about it most, because I know that I'm being made to do all these things, to look at all these elements and be drawn around the photograph. And because of the highlights that have been lit the way they are, you do go there, but I'm not being smashed into those things. I'm being taken there by the desire to discover things, because I see, like a magpie, I see the bright bits and I go, oh, what's there? And I find something, and then I see an element of it and see the strength of it, and then I move around and find the other bits. Otherwise, they would be lost. I think it's a wonderful graphic image. Yeah, just here I am at 94. Yeah, see what you can do.
Okay, judges, can I get you to rescore, please? Melissa, just waiting on you. Might be the internet connection, maybe. It's sort of winging its way over to New Zealand. Come through. Mastership. No. Okay, hang on, Melissa. I'll put it in for you. Let's just see. Is that what you're intending? Oh, hang on. Sorry, I've just done something I shouldn't have. Can you please give me your initial score through the chat as well? You can remember that one. Just a technical issue here, guys. Just bear with us. Yep. Okay, yep. So we have a gold award at 90. Great work, guys. Fantastic conversation with all that. Okay, can we have the next image? And I'm going to try and speed you guys up a little bit. If you can get your scores in as quick as possible. And again, keep those comments nice and concise.
That'd be me, sorry.
Tony, just waiting on yours come through.
Things disappear.
Do you want to message me, Tony, and see what's hasn't come through again yet?
No.
No, I think I can see what you've entered. Let me just. Okay, it's come through now. Okay, so we have a score of 70, solid professional standard. And can I have a comment from Tony?
Can you get somebody else? I might just need
to
check something here.
Oh, yep, no, sort that out. Okay, Jackie, yeah, what can you say for that photographer?
I think the very small bright area in the middle with a woman crouching in a little cave is just a little bit too bright for that surrounding area around it. Needs a crop so we know what the story is.
Awesome, thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please?
Hey, could you just replace me for this one, just while I'm
Oh, yep. Sorry. Can I bring in Chris? Can I bring you in for Tony? Swapping in males and females. It's always good to have a balance on the panel. So we do. We've only got 2 males on this. Oh no, we have 3 males. Sorry, on this panel. So bringing them in and out at times. And Chris, have you got your score coming through? And we have a score of 78, a solid bronze award. And I'm going to call on Chris for a comment, please.
This is a beautiful set of images. I think the choice of composition to leave all that negative space on the outside is great. Maybe for me, these look like we've tried to wrap a texture around a globe, perhaps, because of the shadowing around the outside, but it doesn't quite feel like that's fully resolved for me. So maybe a little more attention there, but this is gorgeous. Well done.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good comments there. Can we have the next image, please? You right there, Tony? Are you?
Right now.
Sorry. Yep. And we have a score of silver, a score of 80, silver award. And I'm going to call on, are you challenging that, Johan?
Thanks.
Get in there and do it very, very quickly. We, need to get things going.
Right, this is a creative category. We don't need a story or anything to go with the image. It's just a very enigmatic image to look at. There's the darkness that leads you to the middle. In the middle, there's hardly anything that's of interest, but it's such a beautiful graphic that it just holds your attention and makes you want to explore. I've given it an 87.
Awesome. I'm going to come down to Tony, who is on a 76.
Yeah, so I scored a bronze. I suppose when I get in there, I sort of don't find anything of particular interest graphically. It's just with the lines, I sort of don't feel it's taking me anywhere, or it's just not quite holding together in the color palette. It's just a little bit off for me as well. So, but I am going to listen.
Okay, Melissa, I'm going to come to you. You unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself. No, still can't hear you.
I was still in the chat area. Okay. I think this image is an image that I see that would be on a gallery wall. This isn't an image that I think is meant to be looked at closely. To me, this is an image about tension, about contrast. So, when you stand back, you get this beautiful mutated color palette and this softness, and that's contrasted with the harshness and particularly the cleverness of opening it on the right-hand side so that you do flow left to right and there is a journey and a depth there. So for me, this is about tension. This is a feeling, and it's not meant to be looked at in as a detail image. It's meant to be an image that is seen big and that you're meant to feel the conflict and the contrast and the drama in it. So I'm listening and I'm happy to go up.
Awesome. Johan, I am going to come back to you for right of reply.
Cool. That's the problem with images like this. Often they do get overlooked because there's nothing specific to focus on. And that's what it does. It just presents you with an emotion or a feeling or a graphic, and it's quite beautiful and beguiling. I've given it an 87. See what you can do.
Awesome. Judges, rescore, please. And we have a score of 85, silver with distinction. Congratulations. That's awesome. You saw that before me, did you, Johan? Can we have the next image, please? Thank you. We have a score of 80, silver award. However, we are going to have a challenge. We've got two people challenging this score. I'm going to go to the highest, which is Joe.
Okay, great. I'm glad I get to talk about this one. This is just beautiful. I don't know if you guys have spotted this, but within this landscape, there is this little face up the top, up on each panel to the right and the left. And there's just all these little tiny details that when you look in, you just see more and more. This is an image you could stare at for ages and just keep finding more and more elements within it. Yeah, and the palette's just gorgeous. What's not to love?
I'm going to come to Jackie, who's on 72.
So I was on 72. I'm quite distracted by just the flipping and the flipping nature of it to create the graphics that I find so strong in the middle with the big light tones of yellow, the yellowy browny tones, and then that patch down the middle. I couldn't make that out, how that was important. I can't really see their faces. That's just come from, if I turn my head sideways, I can sort of see that a little bit, but I wasn't enamored by that. So that's why I was on 72, because of the contrast feels a bit hard and it's losing a bit of subtlety. But yeah, okay.
Thank you, Jackie. Melissa, you're actually up there as well. Can I get a comment from you?
Yeah, I put this in the silver distinction range. For me, I particularly enjoyed the icons within this image, that there was, sort of numerous infinity symbols. There were various graphics throughout the image, which gave us a little bit more context. So I saw that this was quite a strong statement in terms of land and the interference of humankind and the infinity, the continuation of this battle. I felt that graphically it was very strong. It took me above and beyond in bringing these different, very subtle little icons and messages through. So for me, I saw that it sat as a silver distinction, as excellent visual communication and technique, and it made a strong statement.
Mm.
Joe, I'm going to take it back to you for
I don't know that I can add a whole lot to what Melissa said. She said it better than I could. But I think the way the photographer here has combined an abstract with these little tiny bits of reality, and we can clearly see this is the land, but we can also see our impact on the land. I think they've just done it in a really skillful way, and I encourage you to come up with us.
Okay, judges, rescore, please. And we have a silver award. It's gone up a little bit to 82 points. Solid silver award. Always good conversation though, and good feedback for the photographer. Can we have the next image, please? And we have the next image, please, Michael. Michael might be having a little break. Michael's doing an amazing job of keeping our Zoom sessions and the live streaming going for all our live streamed audience. And he's doing it all on his own down there in Palmerston North. We are all scattered across the country running this event. And just one more score to come through. And we have a score of 84, Solid Silver Award. And I'm going to get a comment from Melissa.
I scored this in the silver range. I think it's been technically very well handled. There are some really beautiful elements within. I think certainly for me, what would have taken it higher, I did struggle with so many different areas and so many points of interest. I did particularly love the flow of the birds, and I found that was highly successful. So congratulations, a lovely image.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 71, solid professional practice here. And I'm going to get a comment from Tony.
Yes, I really like the feel of this image and the room around it. So I just think about your colour base. Just think about what colours you're adding to your images.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? Encourage judges to keep pushing in those scores as quick as possible. And we have a score of 78, solid bronze. And I'm going to call on, Jackie maybe. I know you enjoyed this, but let's see if you can provide some other feedback for the photographer.
Yeah, it's very close for everybody coming into that silver range. Perhaps the colour palette, that magenta colour is letting it down, maybe go on full on black and white and show us where to look, be strong.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to do a very quick judge change, Sarah Lee. I'll bring you in, and Joe, you can have a break. And while we're at it, Mandarin, I'll get you to come in for Jackie. Next image, please. Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 75, bronze award. And can I get a comment from Sarah Lee?
I love the pattern and the colours in this. Personally, when I interpret it, I see a beach and waves crashing and everything, which is why when I say I love the colours, I love everything except for the purple line. So, yeah, I guess perhaps, I'm not sure. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Does anyone else have a very quick comment, maybe?
I'll say something.
Yes, Mandarin.
beautiful tapestry effect. I really enjoyed the color palette. Where the image was let down slightly is it's very out of focus or soft focus in the lower section of the image. And for all these beautiful details, I would have loved to have seen continuation of the focus.
Thank you. That's great feedback. Can we have the next image, please? Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 71, solid professional practice. Can I call on Mandarin? Would you have a comment again?
Interesting image. What I found a little distracting was the blown out highlights, the water droplets, and also there seems to be some sort of noise in the highlights of the central one, making it look a little muddy. So just resolve some of those technical issues, and interesting concept.
Awesome, thank you very much. I'm actually going to do a quick judge swap again. Johan, I'm going to get you to have a little break, and I'm going to bring in Chris again.
Thank you.
And can we have the next image, please? Nice to see your nice prompt scoring there, Tony. And we have a score of 73, solid professional practice. And Melissa, you're right on that line. Can you provide a comment for the photographer?
Yeah, I certainly can. I think there's some really interesting textural elements. I like the bird being dead centre. Potentially, I would look at abstracting the background a little bit more to increase a little bit more mystery in there. So just darken down some of those areas. But a lovely example and well handled. Well done.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next image, please. Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 79. And we are going to have a challenge from Melissa.
Yeah, so what I particularly enjoy about this image is just that it challenges us in all of the different ways that we're looking at wood and cotton and paper and the textural elements. And I think it's a really intriguing journey. It takes us in different layers of all of the different backgrounds. And I think they mesh well because they tell us a story as to how we use trees and how we use branches and the products from them. So for me, I saw it as quite a sophisticated piece of overlaid communication. And I would like to see it, certainly it's at 79, I would certainly like to see it into a silver range.
Awesome. Chris, I'm going to come to you on 72.
Yep. Thanks, Melissa, for explaining the paper aspect to it. That helps. So I'm on 72, and I'll be moving up a little bit at least. I think one thing that confused me was if you look at where the base of that branch meets the trunk, you can see all that lovely detail, and the light wraps around it really neatly. But that tends to go away as you get to the extremities around all the buds and the ends. So that inconsistency, I kind of feel like it should be one or the other, but not change partway through. It's not a really big deal though. So love to hear more about it.
Okay, Mandarin.
I'm quite enjoying the concept, and it's almost like an X-ray. I agree with everything Melissa said. One thing that I just can't resolve though is when I look at the square, the frame around the image. If I go to the top centre, it actually doesn't line up, and it looks like a mistake, not intentional, which is in disconnect with all the other elements of the image. So. Attention to detail.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. Back to you.
Yeah, I think this image, I'm looking at this image and presuming that it could have been a transfer. It certainly looks like it's an overlay. It could be an analog process. It could have, it's certainly a tradition. It's certainly a challenging technique where they have tried to merge all of these to deconstruct and then reconstruct. So I like the fact that they're breaking things. It's not meant to be real. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be absorbing into the paper. It's meant to be deconstructing and breaking down and having life in some areas and softness and meshness. And it's, to me, it's a very enveloping sort of image where it's trying to draw you in. So I look at it that it is it's sitting in context with what its intent is, and that's why we are looking at the image that we are in front of us. And I think it does that very successfully.
Awesome. Thank you. Judges, can you please rescore? Tony, just waiting on yours to come through.
So that was that in the
in the final score column?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know where you're thinking it was. This is a challenge, so no, yeah. And we have an 80 silver award. Congratulations. Can we have the next image, please? We have a score of 72, solid professional standard. Can I get a comment from Chris?
Yeah, well, I had this in professional standard as well. I think for me, I want to know why. I want to know why there's the one image that's in focus and the one that's blurred, and what's the photographer trying to tell us. If there's a little more of a clue about that, I would have gone higher.
Thank you. Next image, please. Scores, please, judges. Okay, and the image scores 65, which is a professional standard. Can I get a comment from Chris, if you
Yep.
Maybe type. You happy, Chris, to comment?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yep, go for it.
So I think with an image like this, where it has the potential to be such a graphic image, we want to see some either some detail in the blacks or some really tight focus. For me, the thing that's the sharpest are the couple little spots on the ground, and maybe taking us away from the subject we want. So a little more attention to sharpness and exposure would help.
Fantastic, thank you. Next image, please. Sarah Lee, just waiting on your score. Cool. And we have a score of 75, bronze award. And I'm going to come for a comment from Mandarin.
I adore this image. This colour palette, the concept is lovely. Where I've dropped down a little is in the incongruity between the treatment of the two elements. The pear has a lot of crisp little details within it, whereas the apple is very, very soft. And if I think of those two pieces of fruit, they're not that much different, in my opinion. I think it's definitely a concept to continue working on and develop, because it's got some legs.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? Can we have scores, please, judges? And we have a score of 78. We're happy with that one. And solid bronze award. Can I get a comment from Melissa?
Yeah, so I scored this in the bronze range. I think it's been very well executed, and I enjoy the graphic nature and the colour palette. I would, to take it a little bit higher, I'd like maybe a little bit more difference to break up the symmetry, to give me a little bit more message, or just a little bit of separation from the graphic nature of it. But really well handled, and congratulations.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 78, solid bronze award.
Can I challenge that?
You can challenge that, Melissa?
Yep.
Oh, hang on, sorry. You are unfortunately only 4 points away.
Okay.
So you're unable to challenge it. So sorry, no. But if you'd like to make a comment for the photographer, I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
Well, obviously, I'm a little bit higher than other people, so I will speak from what I enjoyed on it. So I really enjoyed the concept of freedom within this. I enjoyed the tense lines, the traditional structure, and I enjoyed the message and the delicacy and the simplicity in it. So for me, a lovely image, and congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do a very quick judge change. Jackie, can I bring you back on? And I'm going to give Sarah Lee, if you wouldn't mind just having a little break. And can we have the next image, please? Scores, please, judges. And we have a bronze award at 76. And pretty much even there. Now I'm going to call on Chris for a comment, please.
Yep. So I was actually put this in professional practice. I think this is it's a lovely composition. I kind of see almost it looks like tennis courts or volleyball courts, but it's obviously not. It's the fields. So that's really clever. For me, I think I want to see a little bit of a breakup of that symmetry again, just to give us something to reward a deeper investigation of the image.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 76, solid bronze. And Mandarin, you...
Comment.
Comment, yep, most definitely. Yep, comment from you.
I think this is a great concept. It's quite compelling to look at it, but I would implore the photographer to just really work on your cutouts, because there's a lot of issues there with that. So work on that.
Awesome, thank you. And a couple of other judges nodding there as well. Next image, please.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Jackie. Yes. Can I get you, Joe? Can I get you to step in for Jackie, please? And we have a score of 78, solid bronze. However, we are going to have a challenge from Melissa.
Yeah, so I scored this in a silver distinction range, and I'd love the opportunity to talk about this and resolve it. It's quite an intriguing image. The technique, the palette is beautiful. It's almost a pet cemetery with living trees. The tension of this one intriguing tree in the foreground that divides us in the symmetry is beautiful. And, you know, for me, it's an image that I just keep circling, and it raises so many questions for me. It doesn't necessarily resolve questions, but I enjoy the fact that I keep looking, going, why on earth would you chop this direction? The different textures, the design, and the tension that you brought with all of these elements. So for me, I see it as a very sophisticated image, a very intriguing image, and I'd love the opportunity to discuss it and see if we can bring it up.
Okay, I'm going to come to Chris for a comment.
Yeah, I love the technique in this. It's lovely. The feeling that it's giving you is great. I think for me, because there's a simplicity, because the technique makes the image so clear, you want to really choose which elements make it in and which don't. And I think, for example, there's a little spotlight that's looking at the tree, and I don't understand why it's there. Now, if you can probably help to explain that, Melissa, then I'm all ears.
Mandarin, comments? Yeah.
Just a quick comment. The lack of contrast and the flatness of the greys is actually growing on me. It's almost like a tintype effect, which I'm really enjoying. I'm trying to understand what is in the man's hand, so I'd love you to fill me in on that, because that might help with the story. And also I'm wondering if the image would have been slightly stronger if that lone tree in the middle was actually lone and not touching the tree to the right, if that makes sense.
Awesome. I'm going to come back to Melissa for right of reply.
Yeah, I think the beauty in this image is that it leaves us all of these questions. To me, this image is like absurd theatre. There are so many questions that it raises, but compositionally, it has been so well balanced, from having the right-hand side more dynamic and having more negative space on the left-hand side. We have this weird random spotlight, which is obviously, we can look at it and we can go, well, it's obviously to project upon a structure to the right. But the fact that we've got this inorganic element here, and these seats where no one is sitting in it, and then this presence of this one person walking in and leading us into this, for me, it's quite absurd. This is an image about questions, about textures, about diversity, about contrast, about traditions. It's an image which is open for us to interpret and to not walk in and to resolve. And sometimes the cleverest images are the ones that we find ourselves just trying to, scratch our head and think it could be this or it could be that. For me, this is very successful in what it does. It's an image that I could put on my wall and enjoy every single day, because you would just stand there and marvel at the beauty in the image. So I would encourage everyone to come up. It's currently sitting at a 78. I scored it in a silver distinction. I would love to see it at least rewarded with a silver, and would ask everyone to reconsider and see what they think.
Awesome. Thank you. Fantastic discussion there. And we have an 84, solid silver. Well done to the photographer. Congratulations. Jackie, I'm going to get you to come back in, and I might... Yep, no, we'll have the next image, please. Thank you, Joe. Scores, please, judges. And we have a silver award at 81. Nice solid silver there. And I'm going to get a comment from Tony.
Yeah, I really like this. I think it's one of those images where it could either do really well or it could fall over, and those are the exciting ones. Yeah, but love the choices the photographer has made, for darkening down the building. But yeah, just keep doing this sort of work. It's intriguing.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? And nice quick scoring there, guys. We have a silver award at 80. And I'm going to get a comment from Chris.
This is a great piece of work. As a performance photographer, I appreciate that this photographer has brought that sense of motion. Even though we've obscured all the elements of people's faces and skin and everything, you can tell they're people. Texture is wonderful. It's just a great piece of communication. Well done.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 76, solid bronze. And we will come to a comment from Melissa.
Yeah, it's a very intriguing perspective, giving us a frame and an image behind it. One thing I would suggest looking at the lighting of the exterior sort of frame. So, we've got some heavy shadows on the right-hand side, a little bit of blown out area on the top. And if that's the entryway in, I find that I'm sort of looking at that as a different dimensional element and interpreting that. But a lovely scene, a very interesting concept, and well done.
Awesome, thank you. Can we have the next image, please? We have a solid bronze at 76. And I'm going to call on Tony for a comment.
Yeah, I enjoy the concept and mum checking out of the equation. I can understand that and how she'd be feeling. So well done for that. Just watch your highlights and your use of some of the colours. The green can be a little bit overpowering.
Awesome, yep, and some nods there from other judges. I'm going to have a judge change. Johan, hope you're there, and Chris, just give you a little bit of a break, and Mandarin a break, and I'm going to bring in Sarah. So currently we have on the panel is Tony Carter, Melissa Anderson, Jackie Rankin, Johan Van Khan, and Sarah Lee Cobb. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 78, solid bronze. And we have a challenge from Johan.
What an odd image, and it's just a little creepy. In fact, it's quite creepy. The stuck-on eyeballs are probably the creepiest part of it. The slightly overpowering lipstick, and then the vintage feel to it, and then that little flare across the top that ends in a rainbow. It just gives it a sense of magic as well. And it reminds me of some of the bad stuff you get in those horror movies. It's just quite intriguing, a clever little piece of work. I'm just trying to bring it up into a silver if I can.
Thank you. Can I come to Melissa?
Yeah, so I wanted to understand this image, but I struggled a little bit with the messaging in it, and so I put it in the professional standard area. I looked at it that it was potentially curved glass. It had a vintage, certainly a vintage reference with that time period of those faces. But I wondered what the building was related in the background, and then the leatherette, which sort of seemed to be a context of that time, the wording with Madio, I think it is. So I saw the optical elements in it, but I just struggled with the messaging in it and the intention. So I'm certainly listening, and if Johan can clarify some of that, I'm happy to come up.
Thank you. Jackie, I might come to you actually on silver as well.
I'm on 82. It's because of that quirkiness. The things that we don't understand are for the imagination, and it's a kind of an imagination wonderland that of all these subjects of faces. And Johan, yeah, those weird eyes. The colours, I think that pinky colour is a perfect balance to the blues in the background. There's just something really endearing to it that make like little memories or something. I wanted to take it away. And that's why I kept it for that emotional connection somehow. 82.
Thank you. Johan, right of reply.
Good. Thank you. The way I see it is that this is an object for sale in a shop window, and the buildings and things, they are part of the reflection. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner, there's a man walking past. And so this is an item waiting to be bought. And you know what happens next. What happens next is you give it a silver. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can we all rescore, please, judges? And that seemed to work because it got a silver at 82. Well done.
The curse is broken.
Yeah, it is, exactly. Can we please have the next image? Jackie, can I get you to move your score across to the other?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Tony, just, yep, perfect. Scores 82, silver award. And we're going to have a challenge from Johan.
Yay. I was going to give it a silver award until I looked out the window and saw that it was raining cats and dogs. And that just made me laugh so much that I had to bring it into gold. Very clever, imaginative imagery. The dog references all through it. Fantastic. I mean, who hasn't had this image where there's a person in bed and there's just somebody trying to make them happy, and all they want is just to lie in their misery. There's so many beautiful little doggy bits in there. It's great. I'm not looking for a dog-eared silver. I'm just looking for a sort of brighter gold.
Thank you. We're going to go to Jackie, who's on 73.
Yeah, I just wanted to come up. Why is the dog on the left? It seems to have two tails. I can't quite work that out, whether that extra tail had been left in there by accident. And the lighting on that dog on the left is a different kind of lighting to what's in the room. It feels too sort of cut out for me, just that part of it. But I love all the rest of the story. It's great. Just those, it wasn't quite all gelling together. Just that last finishing off, perhaps.
Sarah Lee, I'm going to come to you. You're probably closest to Johan. Just unmute yourself, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Kay. I love all the humorous elements in it, even down to the picture on the wall is of another beautiful pet in a bed. I think perhaps with the amount that we can do in this, that perhaps like the colours needed to be shifted so that the focus was more on the two in the room and it wasn't on what's happening out the window and the red that's in the bottom right. And there's just so many little elements drawing attention, and perhaps it maybe needed to be simplified, perhaps with the colourway. So there was more to see, but it was look and find, not look sporadically.
Awesome. Tony, you're wanting to comment?
Just quickly, there's lots of great elements in here, but I don't believe it's been controlled to the greatest degree with the lighting, and also just being able to see under the bed and the messiness of the blanket, in the centre there. So I think it's just let down a little bit there for gold anyway. But I gave it a silver, and I sort of think it sits in the early silvers quite comfortably.
Awesome. Thank you. Johan, right of reply.
I'm loving the theatre lighting on the dog juggling. I mean, the two-tailed dog, I mean, it's always, there's got to be another story in that, but, maybe it's just an element of theatre. Maybe this is the dog that you go and see at the circus, the juggling one. I like the mess underneath the bed because it makes it feel a little bit more real. If it had been two-staged and two perfected, it would have looked, well, two-staged and two perfected. I see flaws in this image, but for still for the raining cats and dogs, I just love that imagery. Yeah, I've given the 92. See what you can do.
Thank you, Johan. Can I get your ordinary score, please, judges? And we have an 84 solid silver. So it did move a couple of points. And can we have next image, please? So every point counts when it comes to determining the finalists in the category. And you just never know. We do want to thank Nikon, our sponsor of the creative category this year. They have supported these awards for many years, and we certainly appreciate them being part of it. Okay. And we have a score of 86, silver with distinction. And we have a challenge from Melissa.
Yeah, so I scored this 97, and I would love the opportunity to talk about this. I adore this image. I adore the visual communication, the lighting, the vulnerability, the message about growing up and teenage and the sum of all parts, the beautiful lighting on the fingers, the technique, the incredible intuitive image of, sort of the mouth and then looking up from the eye with that resolving image, and that insecurity of being a teenager and all of the different elements. I think it is so strong. It is so intriguing. And for me, this sits as exceptional vision, creativity and innovation. It sits as a gold distinction. And I adore this image. It is so strong, it is so haunting, and it is so piercing. So I would love the opportunity to see if we can get it up to a gold distinction.
Johan, you're on 78.
Yeah. I feel that I really enjoyed the image, and I did get some of the imagery that you were talking about, Melissa, and I would like to see this photographer rewarded for their imagery. There was just a couple of things. The last image I felt didn't really fit in as well, and I think it's just the clarity with the distorting glass close to the subject's face. It just sort of made it less distorted. And then the fact that in 3 of the images, the subject has freckles on his, I'm going to say, shoulder, whereas on the last image, in the second image across, it's not there. I guess it's lost in the shadow. Maybe it's the shoulders are too bright in that image. It just sort of doesn't feel that same strength as a set. I'm going to listen. It does feel tortured.
Tony, you're wanting to comment?
So I'm on 88 and I'm going, real, and I'm going to be up there with Melissa as well. You can just, you can feel growing pains here. You can feel that maskedness, but I think the last image and how it's placed is the master stroke, really. And, just that eye, you can just read so much into that mood of that. And, the square nature and just of each image and just the shapes that are coming through. But it's really about the power of this person and what they're going through or what you think they might be going through. So I think it's a gold distinction, guys. Let's support Melissa with this one.
I'm going to come back to Melissa for a right of reply.
Yeah, I think this image, whether it's relating to the age of innocence or the loss of innocence, or that growing that we do, this is highly evolved. This is highly sensitive. The image on the bottom right hand side, that is the question. That is where they're asking us. That's where he is reaching out to us and saying, do you understand? What are you going to do? That is him challenging us. The other ones, he's all hidden. He's shielded. He's vulnerable. In that last image, that's the bravest image of coming out and opening up to us, and that's why it is so strong that image is slightly different and sits at the end as that resolution where it involves us. So this is so powerful. It is so strong. It is masterly created, and I would encourage all judges to come up as a gold distinction. It's stunning.
Johan, sorry. Judges, can I get you to rescore, please? Sorry, guys, lip reading there. And we have a gold award at 93. Congratulations to the photographer. And well done, Melissa, for challenging that image. I'm sure the photographer will much appreciate it. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 80, Silver Award. And I'm going to call on Johan for a quick comment, please.
I love the delicacy of the let's call it the bone structure that we're seeing in there, and the organization of it to potentially represent a face is quirky, maybe a little too obvious when you bring in the face element, but it's very quirky, quite a good image. I really like it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Melissa, I'm going to give you a break, and Mandarin, I'm going to get you to pop back in, and we will have the next image, please. What have we got waiting on? Okay, yep, and we have a score of 83, Silver Award. And I'm going to get a comment from Tony.
I mean, this is beautifully delicate, and you feel like you're lying down just looking up at all of this. I suppose just watch your cropping of some of the elements can take away a wee bit, but yeah, beautiful image.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? Sarah Lee, just waiting on your score. And we have a score of 79. Now, no one is able to challenge too close, but we will go for a review. So if you can slide across to your review column, you're going to enter. So currently it is sitting on 79 solid bronze. Please enter either 79 if you wish to keep it at bronze, or 80 if you wish to move it to silver.
Sorry, didn't press.
And just one more, Sarah Lee.
Mine's entered.
Yours is entered. You've entered it in the right column.
No, thank you.
And we have a silver award at 80. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we have the next image, please? Johan.
There it goes.
Thank you. Can we, okay, we have a silver award at 82. However, we are going to have a challenge from Johan, who is on a 97. Take it away, Johan.
Why, you might ask? This image filled me with incredible sadness when I saw it. darkness, the feeling I got just from the elephant's eye. The photographer has left us one thing to look at, which is the tusk, which reminded me heavily of what happens to tusks when they're taken away and turned into ivory ornaments. And the image I took off what's on the tusk there was that it was a reflection of the damage done to elephants because of what is made from the tusks. It just makes it very hard for me to speak about, because I feel very sad for the situation that this poor elephant may have been put in. And because the photographer has been able to do so successfully, very successfully for me, I gave it a high gold award.
Thank you. I'm going to come to Jackie, who is on 72.
So I was down there because of dark exposure, big eye, yes, and the tusk. And I know went in close to the tusk, and I could just I wasn't sure if it was inside of the room. I didn't understand it. You've brought another level of understanding to me, so I'm now listening to perhaps some other judges who will come on board there and let me know. Maybe silver distinction, not gold though yet. Maybe silver.
Tony, are you able to speak?
Yeah, I'm on 84. I sort of feel like it sits quite comfortably there. I think the concept is very good. It's very, very, very clever, actually. But maybe the execution is just not that great. For a high score like what Johan is asking, it's one of those things where you feel like you really do have to zoom in on the tusk to see what's going on. So it's sort of, I think that's where it's sort of lost in that sort of idea. But I am listening, and I think the idea of it and the emotion you get from it is there. But maybe just the execution, it's just not quite as good as what Johan's asking for.
Mandy.
Exactly what these guys said, just a couple of points. I wonder, is all that dark space on the left adding to the image? Perhaps it would have been better cropped in as a square to focus more on the elephant's eyes and the tusk. Also with the tusk, I, like some of the others, struggled to see what the images were within it. And I get that story, but I wonder, would it have been more easily transferred to visual language if it had been something like perhaps the keys of a piano or something a little bit more obvious, because I'm struggling to understand what that stripy thing is up towards the top of the tusk and some of the other elements in the story.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to Johan for right of reply.
Well, I hope I remembered to everything. So the image that comes from the tusk for me is an ivory market, and the stripy thing could easily be part of a tent or a marquee or something where the thing's being sold. The darkness to the left of the image, it doesn't do anything for the image except remind you of the sheer size of the animal you're talking about. The execution, I think that the emotional power of it overrides the minor flaws in the execution. The darkness and the sadness, it's pretty brutal, and it rests on me very heavy. I've given it a 97. Just see what you can do.
Thank you, Johan. Can we all rescore, please, judges? Johan, if you put into your same score. And it's gone to 89. So we now have a review. So in your review column, can I ask you to please enter 89 for gold, silver distinction, or 90 for gold? and it has gone to gold. Thank you very much. Sorry, my apologies. Someone just changed their score. Okay, sorry, my apologies. It is actually stays on 89, silver with distinction.
Thank you.
Great comments though. Next image, please. Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 81, silver award. And I'm just going to come to Jackie for a comment for the photographer.
Yeah, scored at 82. And there's a beautiful landscape within the body, lovely skin tone. Perhaps I'm questioning, maybe do we leave the lips in or not? Really close to the edge of frame, pulls your eye a lot and needs a counterbalance perhaps on the left.
Awesome, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, judges, it is the end of the category. Very, very well done. Some amazing images that we've had judged today. And the judges have all done really amazingly. So thank you so much to our judges. Just a reminder that our judges are putting in all their time as volunteers. So we certainly appreciate the efforts that they're coming to, that they've gone to be part of this year's event. I want to say a huge thank you to Nikon for sponsoring the creative category. What we will do now, we're about to sort of head into our next category at 2 o'clock. So we will do a run through of all of the entries that were entered into the creative category, as well as the promotion from our sponsor. And in the meantime, we will say goodbye and see you back here at 2 o'clock for the portrait and camera category. Thank you very much, judges.
Thanks, Kate. Awesome.